Welcome to XConnect TV. My name is Karim Kanji. I am so happy to be your host for today. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, you can join us on our web and social platforms online at xconnectto.com. You can like us on facebook.com/xconnectto. Follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/xconnectto, as well as subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/xconnecttv. And we'd love for you to subscribe obviously to that channel and watch all of our videos, this one as well as the previous ones that we have made already. I am so excited to have a special guest today. We work out of the same workspace. This is Mike Tang from Raise5.com, the CEO.
Thanks for having me, Karim.
You're welcome. Thank you for dropping by.
Yeah, no problem.
You guys have, I guess, been in this space here, which is a Network Orange, here in the middle of downtown Toronto. I think ever since we were here.
Yeah,
we've seen
I think
you guys.
we were probably one of the first tenants at this place.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first opened shop, we were here.
So here's what I want to talk about first, and then we'll get into the whole history of Raise5.com. But I met you and your team as you were building Raise5, or as the idea was coming up, at an event called Startup Toronto, Startup Weekend
Toronto, yes.
Yeah, Startup Weekend Toronto. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about that experience of Startup Weekend Toronto?
Yeah, sure.
And how that helped to develop Raise5.
Of course. So for those who don't know about Startup Weekend Toronto, it's basically an event where entrepreneurs can go to and they pitch their idea, they get together, and over 72 hours, over a weekend, you can build a prototype for your product, for your web startup. And then you can launch it in front of 200, 300 people and get feedback from that. So it's a very great experience for someone who just want to kick off their product, their startup. So prior to the event, we just did some brainstorming. We thought, hey, let's attend this event. It'll be a great networking event. What can we build? What can we pitch there? Okay. So it was at a time, this was November of last year.
Yes.
Near the Christmas season. So we thought, hey, there's a lot of charities and nonprofits pushing really hard to get people to support them. You can see it in the mall, you can see it online on Wikipedia, you see that banner, please support Wikipedia. So we thought, how do we support these charities without donating money? Yeah. So there's got to be an easier way, we have all the skills that we have. How about we just donate some of our skills? So we came up with that concept and we just pitched it there at that event.
Okay. Now at the time, you and your team were building another company, another startup. Called Hoody.
Hoody, yes, that's right.
So what was, and it's interesting now, Hoody is, you're not building Hoody anymore.
No.
You're focusing on Raise5. Was there ever an intention to say, you know what, we need to find something else to do? And was that one of the reasons that you guys attended Startup Weekend?
Definitely was one of the reasons.
Okay.
We started Hoody back in March of 2011. Yeah. And we worked on it for a few months. We didn't really see too much traction from it. And we were looking for a different venue, different event to kind of just launch our thing, to get the word out. And at first we thought Startup Weekend could be a good place to do that. But then we came up with that idea last minute when we just pitched it. And we got so much warm reception to that Raise5 idea. And we thought, why don't we just diverge, pivot and do Raise5 instead?
Now you didn't win the weekend competition.
No, I didn't.
But you've won other awards since, and we'll talk about that. But let's take a step back. On the website, it talks about Raise5. Raise5 is a fundraising platform that gives everyone a creative way to raise money for their favorite charities and nonprofit organizations with their free time and talents. And you talk about a system of micro donations. And there's all this talk recently about crowdfunding and crowdsourcing and that sort of thing. And you've really taken that and said, okay, instead now of funding these maybe commercial or art projects that people are doing, let's fund some of these charities and nonprofits that are doing great work and help them to continue to do that. What are your thoughts on these things like micro donations and crowdfunding?
I think in the fundraising space right now, you can either give money, or you can go perform traditional volunteering hours, which is very high commitment. You need to spend a lot of time doing that.
Sure. Right? Yeah.
And we found was there isn't a way in the middle ground where you can do some low commitment very simple things to support charities, to support the causes you care about. And we just thought there was a gap there. So we thought, why not create a platform where people can do that on low commitment in their free time, doing things that they're already good at doing to support a cause. And I think we can get enough people to do it, because there's a lot of people that are what we call slackivists, who are...
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Well, slacktivist is someone who, you know, they know about the causes, they know about a certain charity, then they probably talk to their friends about it, but they're not committed to do anything about it.
Okay.
And I think a lot of the reason is there isn't a lot of options for these people to do. Like, there's not a lot of low commitment options for them to support these causes, to support charities. And basically, we want to tap into that market.
It's interesting because, so I've heard that term before, and a lot of people talk about it when they talk about, you know, someone posting a story online or on a social network, and if it gets a certain amount of views or likes or thumbs up or whatever you want to call it, you know, there are two sides to this action. On the negative side, it's like, well, all people are doing is clicking their mouse. They're not really, like you said, supporting it. But then on the other side, it's like, well, you've got like X amount of hundreds, if not thousands of people who have clicked their intention or clicked their desire to really like something or really support something, and maybe that means something. Do you feel that what you guys are doing with Raise5 takes it to that next step, saying, okay, maybe you can't give so many hours a week or a month. Maybe you can't give hundreds or thousands of dollars, but can you give $5, or can you perform a simple task that takes a few minutes?
Exactly. What we really want to do is reshape philanthropy. Because philanthropy right now is really reserved for, you know, the really rich people.
Sure.
Who give a large sum of money, right?
Yeah.
We want to change the meaning of philanthropy. We want to make that low commitment and integrate that with people's schedule. So right now on Raise5, people can donate services, right?
Sure.
Obviously, they're not going to do that full time, just donating their services.
Yeah.
We want to integrate that into their own current life schedule. So we say, maybe you can do 1 or 2 services a week. So that integrate that feeling of philanthropy with your routine, that's whatever you're doing already.
Okay.
So that way, we're trying to create a social network basically around doing social good. Because right now, like you said, you know, someone can put up a video, put up a picture, and people like it, they support that cause or whatever it is. But there isn't a community that's centered around philanthropy right there going on. And if you look at right now on the social web, there's different communities where people can be part of that community and identify themselves with. So there's things like Stack Overflow, GitHub for developers.
Yes.
There's communities like Behance for artists. There's SoundCloud for just music.
We just interviewed Adam Epstein from Huddlers.com, and they're all about recreational sports.
There you go.
Building that.
So there's all these social communities out there, right? But there isn't one that's centered around philanthropy.
Do you think I want to touch on that a little bit about social networks and very like niche social networks around interest, rather than around just people in general. Is this a growing theme that you're seeing out there, that we're seeing out there? Is it something that has the ability to gain a lot of traction?
I definitely think so.
Okay.
I mean, you have Facebook, you have Twitter. These are the giant social networks. Just generic social network for, you know, your everyday life, right?
Sure.
Obviously, people want extra ways to kind of identify themselves. They want different outlets to express their, whether it is artistic talents or like professional programming talents. They need an outlet, they need a medium to express that. I think that's why we're seeing all these different social networks popping up to fill these needs of people. And
do you think there's enough space and time and people's time to be able to not only, you know, play on Facebook, but if there's someone who's interested in philanthropy, to go to a Raise5, or if they're interested in recreational sports, to take the time and go to huddlers.com. You think there's enough space and time for people to do that, or are you think that you're going to have to some sort of way integrate so that people, let's say Facebook, be on Facebook and still participate in the Raise5 community, or what are your thoughts? What do you want to do?
Right. I think currently what Facebook is trying to do is become a platform where other social networks can be built on top of it.
Yeah.
So you can be participating in these niche social networks. And
Yeah.
of course, there's a lot of them, but you don't have to do all of them. You choose which one that you belong to, right?
Sure.
Everyone is different. So you have your creation, your sport social network. Maybe
Yeah.
that's what you belong to. That's part of your identity.
Yeah.
So you can choose which one you belong to, and whatever activities you share there, it's all integrated with Facebook. So that goes to Facebook already. So you don't have to spend double the time to share the same content.
You have a young team. You got Hassan, Cheyenne, and is it Althea?
Althea, yeah.
Althea as well. How did you find this team? How did you put it together? What did you look for?
Yeah, definitely. So for Hassan, I've known him since the days of Hoody. We worked on Hoody together.
Okay.
So he was helping us with the marketing. And he's a wizard at social media.
Okay.
He found all these tools where he can get a lot of Twitter followers really quickly. Like, I think in 2 months or maybe 1 month, he got us like about 600 followers on Twitter.
Yeah.
So he's amazing at that.
Okay.
So, and for Cheyenne, I've known him since days of university. We were housemates together.
Okay. Where did you go to university?
University of Toronto.
Toronto. Okay. Right here across the street.
Yeah.
Or a few
And I
streets.
did electrical engineering.
Okay.
And yeah, Cheyenne was doing civil engineering, so we were housemates back in school together.
Okay.
So we know each other for like almost 6 years, so I know how to like work with him. So I know what to expect when to work with him. So when the opportunity came, I asked him to join Raise5.
Yeah.
He's also good at programming, so he does the back end for our development work for the website. So it was perfect. You know, each one of us, we have a similar core belief. But very complementary skill sets. I think that's very important. You shouldn't look for someone that does exactly what you do.
Yeah.
You have to find someone that does
Fills the gap.
Fills the gap, right?
Yeah. So all of you believe in what Raise5 is doing and wants to do, and you all bring to the table different skill sets and different proficiencies.
Yeah.
So, Startup Week in Toronto ends. What was your next step? What were you guys focused on? Well, actually, let me ask you this, because it seems a lot of companies, you know, one of the big buzzwords out there in startup life is, is pivoting and stuff. Was Raise5 back in Startup Weekend the same as it is today? I'm sure it's a little bit different, the platform and stuff, but was it really basically the same thing? Did you have to change a lot of things?
We definitely improved upon it.
Okay.
The general idea of turning people's talents and skills into donations, that holds true today.
Okay.
But going forward, we do want to add more ways where people can support.
Okay.
Like I said, we began this as a service marketplace where people can donate their services.
Okay.
Other people can buy it.
Yeah.
And the proceeds goes to charity.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But moving on, we want to be more of a social network, a community of fundraisers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Between then and now, actually, I'm very curious about this. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
How did you bring on these nonprofits and charities to participate with what you were doing, or do they have an open door policy whereby, hey, if you want to send us money, here are the places you can do that?
I think for these charities, especially the small to medium charities, they're pretty loose. Like they can just, because we're funneling money to them, right? So they're very receptive to that. Okay. And when we told them about our vision, our idea, they think it's a great idea. I think they think that it's great for the youth demographic as well. Because right now the youth demographic, they don't generate a lot of donations because they don't have a lot of money.
Of course.
They're in school or they have student loans, whatever. They don't have a lot of money. So I think this is a new way to tap into that youth demographic, and they believe that too. Okay. So they're very receptive to our idea. They love to sign up on board with Raise5.
How much money has gone through your platform to date in terms of donations?
So far we have done about $600 in donations. Okay. So far.
All right.
And we haven't really pushed really hard on the marketing yet.
Okay. What are you guys focused on right now?
So right now we're actually focused on getting into an incubator.
Getting an incubator. Okay, so let's talk about that. Yeah. But let me ask you this: since November till now, has that been your focus, or what was the first step when Startup Weekend ended last year? Or what was and I'm sure there's Christmas time and everything like that. You had both Hoody and Raise5 still running at the same time.
Right.
When did you guys drop Hoody?
So after startup weekend, I think it was a month afterwards,
Yeah.
we decided that Hoody wasn't really working out. We can't really just do both things at once.
Okay.
So we decided to focus on Raise5 more.
Okay.
So we developed Raise5 for about a little more than 2 months.
Okay.
We actually launched Raise5 in the beginning of February.
Okay.
That's when we publicly launched it.
Okay.
And so that's what we're doing since from November to February.
Yeah.
And then afterwards was just doing some social media marketing, just like word of mouth marketing,
Okay.
trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, in March,
Yeah.
this Vancouver company wanted to acquire Hoody.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they were doing the exact same thing. They wanted to create a online platform for finding local services.
Which is what Hoody was all about.
Which was Hoody.
Okay.
And that's integrated with Facebook and all that. So it's
Yeah.
like a more social version of Craigslist.
Okay.
So they wanted to do that. They saw Hoody and they thought, hey, this is exactly what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
So they wanted to acquire, what we have built and
Yeah.
start from there.
Okay.
So it was good for us.
Perfect exit.
Yeah, perfect exit. Yeah.
Very nice. And so now you're at the process of looking for an incubator to go into.
Right.
And I know you guys have been to a variety of places. You've been to Jolt, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
You just recently came back from Montreal. You went and spoke with Founder Fuel.
Yeah.
Anyone else that you've gone to?
We also just applied to Techstars in the States.
Techstars in the States?
Yeah.
Okay, so what is it? Let me ask you this. What is that process? Because I'm sure there's people watching
Yeah.
that are maybe in the same boat as you or a little bit earlier than you.
Right.
What is that process? By the way, have you gotten into any of these incubators yet?
No, not
Okay, not yet. Nothing's official yet.
Nothing's better.
Okay, so what is that process like in terms of applying and pitching?
Well, applying is really just you go to the incubator's website.
Mm-hmm.
I guess before I elaborate on that, maybe we should just explain what an incubator is. Maybe
Absolutely.
some of the viewers might not know.
Yeah.
So an incubator or a business incubator,
Yeah.
you think of it as a boot camp for startups.
Okay.
So it's usually a 3 to 4 month period program
Mm-hmm.
where they provide you funding, they provide you mentorship, advice, to kind of start your business.
Okay.
So after you go through that program, it really accelerates your business forward.
Okay.
At the end of that program, you do a demo in front of VCs.
All right.
So there's a lot of potential investment opportunities.
Mhm.
So that's what an incubator is, or
Interesting.
does. So the process, it's fairly simple. You just go to their websites.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you have to
Tell them who you are, what you
tell
guys
them
are
who you
doing.
like explain your business. Just fill out the form. If they're interested, they're going to call you back for an interview. That could be either an in-person interview or over Skype, and then you just prepare the hell out of it.
Mhm.
Go there, pitch it.
Absolutely.
Really sell your idea, sell the vision of your idea.
Yeah.
And of course, they put a lot of emphasis on the team. So they need to know if this is the team that's capable of executing this vision,
Okay.
right? Because the vision, the grand vision is there, and how to get there could pivot in many ways to get there, right? But this is the team that's able to adapt to change, is able to execute and get to that vision. That's what they're looking. That's the first thing they're looking for.
All right.
More than what you're doing right now, because what you're doing right now could change
Sure.
after this incubation period.
How did you choose? Because right now in Toronto and Canada, there seems to be these business incubators popping up
Right.
every other week. It seems like that. How do you choose? And you haven't applied to everybody.
No.
How
There's
do you
still extreme startup they haven't applied to.
Yeah. How do you choose who to apply to?
Well,
Or does it really matter?
it's like applying to university. You apply to the big ones first, and then you apply to some of the smaller ones as backups.
Okay.
Right? It's kind of like that mentality for us.
Now you said you
But-
haven't applied to extreme startups. They're not backup for you, are they?
No, but that's because their deadline is like September or something.
Their deadline's a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Okay.
But mainly you have to look at the mentor list. You have to see what value you can get out of that incubator.
Okay.
The mentor list, their connections, their reputation,
Okay.
right? So it's not worthwhile to apply to everyone because it's still very time consuming filling out the form and stuff, thinking about how to answer the questions or attending interviews.
Sure.
Still very time consuming, so you gotta still pick the right ones.
What have you learned that you didn't know since you've pitched to incubators or since you've applied
I think
to incubators?
applying to the incubators, this
Yeah.
whole process, the greatest value we got from that is
Yeah.
to really focus down on our vision, our
Okay.
roadmap. Because before then we were kind of scattered we keep on thinking of different ideas here and there,
Okay.
and we want to execute them all. But going through this process of applying to incubators, you really have to kind of narrow down your vision and make it very clear and concise. So that kind of helped us frame the direction of the company. And going to like these interviews, in-person interviews, really help too because they provide feedback. They ask a lot of good questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
I talked about earlier you guys not winning the Toronto Startup Weekend, but since you've won I remember one, I don't know if you won more than one different competition.
Oh, just the one.
Just the one?
Yeah.
So talk about that. It was Richard Branson and Virgin Group.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk about what the competition was about?
Sure. So Richard Branson, he wrote a book called Screw Business as Usual.
Yeah.
It's basically writing about telling people a different way of doing business that's not just focused on profit, but also focused on the people, the planet, the community.
Okay.
So giving back to the community while creating a sustainable business. So he hosted this competition, also by the same name, Screw Business as Usual.
Okay.
Looking for business ideas with a social impact, the agenda for social impact.
Okay.
So it was a global contest. I think over 700 contestants applied.
Yeah.
And we heard about it. We thought, hey, this is very in line with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So we spent probably almost a month shooting a video pitch to showcase our idea, showcase the site and all that.
Yeah.
And we just sent it out, and we hope for the best.
And was it was there a voting process?
Yeah. So then comes to the process of you have to get people to vote for your idea, right? So we got all our friends to vote for it. We spread it on Facebook and all that.
Yeah.
And once you get enough votes, you make it into the top 10. There's going to be a final round of judging by a panel of judges, which includes Richard Branson.
Okay.
And we're very thrilled when we heard that we were the winner of that competition. Yeah.
And what has that? And so, what do you win in this competition? What have you received?
So the tangible prize is you win a trip.
Okay.
To go to South Africa to meet Richard Branson.
Okay.
And you get to spend a few days with him on his private game reserve to talk business. Okay. And this is a very exclusive trip. Only like 20 people are allowed to go, and it costs a lot of money. So it's going to be a great experience.
And they're paying for everything?
They're going to pay for everything.
When is that?
They just got back to me today, actually. Okay. They say it's going to be in February of 2013.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So I've got time to join your team still? That would be nice.
In addition to that, because this is an ongoing competition, right?
Okay.
Every year they're going to look for another business idea.
Interesting.
So being the first winners, we're setting a very good example for the rest. And Richard Branson is going to mention us in his next book.
Interesting.
To follow up the Screw Business as Usual book.
Okay. Yeah. And you talk about that's a tangible. Any intangible?
Of course, just like continuing support from Virgin Group. Okay. From Virgin Unite, which is their nonprofit foundation. Okay. So they're going to introduce us to a few key people to give us feedback and mentorship. Okay. We actually have a call set up tomorrow or Thursday with the ex-CEO of Virgin Mobile. Nice. They just have a Skype call with us. They're going to take a look at our business plan, give us some mentorship and all that.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And from that, you've obviously had a lot of press.
Oh yes, of course.
In literally every single newspaper, every single online tech place has talked about you guys, and congratulations on that. When I first saw it, very, very excited for you guys.
Thank you.
What's the next step for you guys? I know you guys need to get your passports all in order and all that sort of stuff, but what's next in line? What are you guys working on next? I know you guys are hoping to get into an incubator. You guys are going to go to South Africa. Yeah. But what's sort of the next big milestone? What are you guys working on?
Right. So I think up until now, it's more like a validation to prove if this concept of fundraising can actually work. Yeah. And we've gotten tremendous validation for it. So the next step is actually going after the charities and partner up with these charities. Because we want to provide value to these charities. Sure. This is a new way of fundraising. Yeah. And to let all these charities know that this is a different option for people, a low commitment option for people to donate to them. Sure. So we want to partner up with different charities and leverage their help to spread the word of Raise5.
About your platform, while at the same time giving them an opportunity to raise these micro donations that they might not have.
So it's a mutually beneficial partnership. Yeah. And if we can partner with enough charities, we can really just spread the word that way. Okay. So right now we're really focusing on just marketing and user acquisition.
Fantastic. Well, listen, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. and all the best to you and Hassan and the rest of your team. Look forward between now and February, and then when you go and come back from South Africa, really look forward to seeing you guys grow.
Thank you so much.
And hopefully even graduate from this space that we both work out from. But thank you so much for all of you for joining us and watching and listening. Mike, actually, why don't you tell everybody where they could find you and where they can find Raise5?
Sure. If you go to raise5.com, so raise is in fundraising, and 5 is the number 5.com, you can check out our site. And I'm on Twitter. Mike Tangster is my Twitter handle.
Fantastic. So follow him on Twitter. Go check out raise5.com. And in fact, go there. I put up a video donating $5. Actually, you can donate $5 and I will make a video singing Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses. And I've already done it to one person. I'd love to make a video for you. Again, my name is Karim Kanji from Third Ocean and XConnect TO. You can find me on Twitter at Karim Kanji. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. Bye-bye.